right, good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and as always with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 177. This is a show where we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation. But before we get on with the show, I want to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. Visit us over on Twitter at PS This Is Awesome and Tumblr, pssisawesome.tumblr.com. Want to make fun of our trophy list on the PSN, you can find me at anchorless_81 and Mr. Jake Peters at jakesaw01. And as always, you can write the show at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. And most importantly, don't forget to share the show with your friends. Make sure you leave comments and rate the podcast. Hopefully all nice things. And if you are listening to the podcast and not watching this on YouTube, we ask that you head over there to indulge in some of our video content. You can find that at youtube.com/psthisisawesome. And I do want to say that I haven't done any video stuff this past week, and I've been trying to do video stuff every day. What I do, Jake, is I go on and I queue up a lot of, I look at a lot of trailers, look at stuff, kind of film stuff. I didn't even do clips from our last podcast. It was just, I had too much shit going on, so I apologize. And I don't know that I'm going to keep up with it. I literally put out a new video on our YouTube page for 2.5 months. Every day there was a new video. And I didn't. Yeah, I mean, dude, I didn't see a change in subscribers at all. So, well,
a lot of these YouTube channels to get big. I mean, it takes years. So, I
true.
think you were reaching a little far, posting a video every single day to start out.
Yeah, but I just wanted to see what would happen. It was kind of like a science experiment for me. But yeah, so I don't think I'm going to be doing that as much. We'll probably still do a PSTIA clips and takeaways when we get to them, if we get to them, but I don't think I'm going to do as many trailer reactions. I will for maybe the genuine stuff, the state of plays and stuff like that, but I think I'm going to dial it back a little bit just so that I have some more, maybe a regular life. But that out of the way, Jake, it's Saturday. We're recording this on a Saturday. Our listeners will be hearing it on Monday. How you doing?
Oh, fine. Yeah, I'm tired. Other than that, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's been nice here, so
yeah,
spent a lot of time outside today, which is cool.
Yeah, I got my second COVID shot on Friday morning. I worked all day Friday, and then I kind of woke up Friday morning feeling a little trashy, I had a head cold. It felt like I was just kind of tired. I didn't sleep. I've been sleeping well, and Friday night I felt like balls, and we were gonna maybe do the podcast then. And the reason we're doing it Saturday because you're busy tomorrow. So we're kind of squeaking this in. Our band actually practiced this morning, and that was enjoyable. The weather has been awesome, dude. I went over to my parents' house, and I hopped on my mom's Harley and rode that around for quite a bit today. It was awesome. Man, I really like riding those bigger bikes. They just cruise, dude. And it was such a nice day.
That's not even a big bike for a Harley.
No, it's an 883 Sportster, but it's still awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever shifted gears on a Harley, dude? I don't know if they're all that way, but they make that real chunky sound when you switch gears. I don't know. It's just
the gearbox on Harley sounds like a fucking box of hammers. I don't really understand why it sounds like that.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't sound smooth at all.
They all sound that way.
It's this crazy sound. It almost feels like you're riding some sort of old school piece of equipment, an old wooden roller coaster or something. It's just
it's
weird.
Because the fucking Harley Sportster, with the exception of adding fuel injection, literally hasn't changed in 40 years.
Yeah.
So it's probably using the same gearbox from when the Model T was invented.
I mean, you can hear yourself shifting gears over the exhaust.
It's pretty wild. Most bikes make a good chunk when you shift them into first, but Harleys just do it all the time.
Every gear, you can feel it too, the bike, it resonates through the chassis of the bike, when you shift, and you can just feel it in your tailbone. You're okay, I guess I just shifted gears. It's pretty wild. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, it's a real smooth ride. My ass hurt though, because it's every little bump, she needs different shocks or suspension on it or something. That thing it doesn't handle any kind of divots well. Smooth otherwise though. It's a fun bike to ride. So I went and rode a bike for a little bit, and I ate Taco Bell for the first time in 3 or 4 months probably, because they did away with their potatoes, their Fiesta potatoes, and that was the big thing. I used to put it in everything, and they got rid of that, and they got rid of their AM Crunch Wrap. And I was well, there's nothing here for me anymore. Those are the only 2 things I ate. And I found out on their web app that they're doing potatoes again, so wouldn't give it a shot. It left a lot to be desired, so it didn't really hit the spot for me. But yeah, man, you did some stuff outside. That's good. Let's get into some video game talk. How about it? Those who've been listening to the show, I've been playing Valkyrie Chronicles 2 on the PSP. It is great. It's like the perfect, or not, it's a PSP game playing on my Vita, sorry. But it's like it's the absolute perfect game for the Vita, because like you can't like save those battles and you're in the middle of them. And they tend to be kind of long, but you could just put the Vita in standby and then just be like, all right, I'll take a couple turns and then just put it away. And like, it's kind of nice in that regard. I'm telling you, it's a really good game, and I really think you should get it, man. It's good. This one seems to be a little easier than the 3 and 4, or 1 and 4, rather. Yeah, it's good though. It's really good.
Well, that's cool. Is it still the same kind of like general concept mechanically? Like,
yeah, the story's so good on it though. Yeah, it's the same concept. It's really fun, and there's a lot of voiceover too. So there's like a lot of like actual like, there's like a lot of cutscenes, cartoons, speech bubbles, characters meeting each other. Essentially, what it is the basis of this game, I think, is it takes place after Valkyria 1, right? So the European War has ended. And your brother, like not your brother, but one of the characters' brother or whatever, went on a special mission, like quote unquote, and a recruiter tells you that he passed or something, or that like he died in a special mission. You're like, no way, not my brother. He would never die. You know, he wouldn't just give up like that. So then you're like, I want to follow in his footsteps. And he's like, well, it's really tough. You got to be one of our soldiers, you know. And then so you go to like their base, their training camp, and you meet all these other people who are like cadets. And then you form your squad. And then as you're training, like you get attacked by some other army, right? And then you have to defend it. You're like, we're just trainees. We can't defend our base. And he's like, this is what you signed up for. Go to it. And then it just starts. And then it's just, you kind of get acquainted with all the characters. You watch their relationships unfold and stuff. It's really good. It's a really good game. I don't know, man. It sounds kind of lame maybe to you, but I think it's fantastic.
Well, Valkyrie Chronicles 4, the story was, I mean, I obviously only played the demo, but the story seemed like it was pretty similar to that. Yeah. Where it's like, you know, young recruits have to do this thing that is out of their depth, and then they like grow.
They're all incompetent. Yeah. They start off as rookies, and by the end of the game, they're all veterans and they're badasses. So I did beat G.I. Joe Operation Blackout, and damn it, dude, I am not going back to this game. Dude, this game has 18 missions, 17 or 18 missions. Like, it's just like way too many. And what's really weird about it, I was on Reddit, and if anyone's listening wants to look at my G.I. Joe collection, I started, and I'll get back to the Reddit thing because it interfaces with G.I. Joe Operation Blackout game. I started a Instagram account called The Keystone Cobra, and it's every day I've been posting like some poses of some of my action figure collection, and like it's just getting out of control. I already have like almost 55 followers. I've only had this account for like 3 days, so it's funny because there's some mystique behind it. It's like, I put it like on the channel description, like, you know, pulled from the Keystone Cobra's personal collection. You know, here are some like people don't know it's me. It's so funny though. But yeah, I have like 55 followers already. It's ridiculous. More followers on my Instagram account for G.I. Joe probably than we have for our podcast, which is hilarious. So go find me on Instagram, the Keystone Cobra. But there was somebody on Reddit that had posted the latest version of the Firefly figure, and he had like these fucking backpack things, right? It looks like missile launchers, and Firefly's never had that. He's a saboteur, like he's kind of like a dynamite guy. He never has missile launchers. And somebody's like, yeah, this character would be really cool, except they fucking butchered his bio. Like he just never carries this. But because I played Operation Blackout, I knew where it came from. And because I beat the game, it gave me all the different like artist write-ups on the different character design. And it was like, we didn't initially mean for this to be Firefly. It was supposed to be a character named Metalhead, but the developers were told last minute to change and put Firefly into the game, but we had already done all the character modeling that we had to give Firefly a backpack with a missile launcher. So then Hasbro sees the character, and they made a character off of the video game version. So I was able to like chime in on Reddit, be like, yeah, it's actually like Hasbro copying the thing. Like, they wanted to make a Firefly figure, and of course, this is the way G.I. Joe's always been, is like, you know, they wouldn't make a character to sell on the toy shelf unless it was in the cartoon, right? The cartoon and the comics sold the toys. So it was kind of weird. So it was like one of those things where it's kind of like life imitated art, and like, unfortunately, Firefly lost his coolness in the figure form this recent go around because of this fucking game. But anyways, it's I'm dropping too much knowledge. Jake, what are you playing?
I'm still playing, basically just playing Octopath Traveler. It's going. I mean, it's still good. It's just I haven't quite gotten to the. So it seems like every character has their own story. Like, I don't know if there's eventually going to be like an overall connecting story arc, but it's kind of interesting because it's like there's 8 characters and you get them all and they all have their own stories. Like, when you go collect the new characters on the map, then basically you complete chapter 1 for them, and then after that you'll see like all over the map, like this character's chapter 2, this character's chapter 2, this character's chapter 2.
Right.
And it just like, it seems like basically they're telling 8 different stories, but they're giving you all of the characters together to be able to complete everybody's story to kind of make the game more mechanically interesting. Which is cool. I mean, it's a really weird kind of concept for a JRPG, but like I said, I've only gotten so far. I haven't even gotten to any of the chapter 2 stuff yet for any of the characters. So I don't know, maybe there's a point where they kind of bring in some sort of overall story arc that affects everybody. But, so far it's basically just been me collecting the other characters and, doing like their first chapters to kind of bring them into the fold. I think I got like 1 more to go, 1 or 2 more characters to go, and then I can start sort of branching out. But I'm probably I was actually thinking this morning about jumping back into Outriders, but I ended up not doing that. Actually, I ended up hardly playing any video games at all today just because it was so nice out.
So nice out.
Even when I first got up in the morning, I got up and got a shower and fed the dogs and got my cup of coffee. And instead of going and playing games like I usually do, I just went outside and sat outside and drank my coffee. So it was just so nice out.
It's like a fucking prisoner being released or something. Like, is what it feels like, really. It's like, I can get outside. Yeah, not exactly, but sure. Yeah, I don't know. It is. I mean, this Northwest PA, man, it gives us a lot of gray sky, a lot of crappy... I don't know, weather, cold, brutal, brittle garbage we have to put up with all the time. But so we have some nice days, man. Summer. I mean, I expect the YouTube channel to really go down during the summers and maybe kick back up more in the winters for that very reason. There's stuff to be done outside, and we're still going to try to get the podcast down, the audio podcast, and at least put the video of the YouTube channel up, or the YouTube podcast. But let's get into some news, Jake. I do want to correct what I said about G.I. Joe. I believe that the figures came out before everything else, and then they used comics to sell the figures. But it seems like it has taken a turn where, like, it's the other way around now. Like if there's a cartoon, which there hasn't been in a long time, but the video game now, they want to create figures based on the video game rather than the video game create people based on like the figures on the shelf. So it's just so weird the way it works. It seems like it changes all the time, but I can confirm that Firefly was supposed to be Metalhead, and they changed it last minute. All right. According to Push Square, Jake, Days Gone 2 is now not going to be happening. They pitched it, Sony Bend, and it got shot down. This is I think all but confirmed. and Sony Bend apparently were split up, and half of their team were working on assisting Naughty Dog with the new Last of Us multiplayer factions, while the other half were working on a new Uncharted game. And they were concerned they were going to get absorbed by Naughty Dog because they kept bringing people in from Naughty Dog to kind of oversee the Uncharted thing. So they kind of said, you know what, we just kind of want to have our independence. And then apparently the new Uncharted game went back to Naughty Dog, or it just disappeared, or this is just like as of last month. Something weird happened. But then I do know that there is a Last of Us Part 1 remake being made. Well, I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense.
I would be surprised if it was a remake. It's probably just like a graphical overhaul. Because like the PS4 version of The Last of Us was literally just a port. Like, even though it was called Last of Us Remastered or whatever, you know, they probably upped the frame rate and they did a couple of little things here and there. But like, I guarantee you that The Last of Us, the OG Last of Us remake is just going to be like, they might reskin it or something like that, but they're not going to completely rebuild the game.
Could you imagine all the voice acting and everything they'd have to redo?
It would just be fucking stupid for them to do that. I mean, I don't really understand why they would. You can already play the original Last of Us on... I mean, and the game's only been out for... It's not like this legacy game.
7 years.
It's only 7... Well, it'll be 8 years old in June, but...
I mean, Christ is a PlayStation classic. You know what I mean? You can get it for $20 in any store, and they've all but given the game away at this point. If you've wanted to play The Last of Us, chances are you've already played it. So what's the point of even doing a... I mean, yeah, you can make it look nicer. You can make it look better, but Sony used to be all about, like, forging ahead and doing new IP and new things. So I think it's weird that they didn't give Days Gone 2 a chance. I think there were some issues with them saying the development cycle was too long last time, and it was successful, but it didn't really bring the success that they were looking for. But, like... that game, I really feel like that game, there was something to it, especially when you play it on the PS5. Like, it runs like butter, and it's really kind of cool. It was just a little long on the tooth, and there was a lot of fat that probably needed to be trimmed up a little bit out of it. Like, there was a lot of, like, the way it integrated into the cutscenes seemed so disingenuous. Like, it was just, or it wasn't, disingenuous isn't the right word, but it just didn't, the transitions, it was just like a smash cut. It was just like fade to black. Okay, here's a cutscene. Fade to black. Okay, we're back out of the cutscene. It's like, this is like 2021. Like, just make that shit go smooth. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Sony Bend, I don't know. I don't know. So, they were working on a new Uncharted that apparently was going to precede, I believe, the Nathan Drake story and involve characters that maybe we didn't know or weren't familiar with and take like a whole new storyline, which seems weird. Like, at that point, why do you even keep the Uncharted name?
I mean, it's not going to include any of the original characters.
Oh, nobody knows that, but I mean, it could have Sully or something, right? Or maybe it could follow Sam around, but it seemed like it was going to predate what... Is that you or me?
It's me. Did my video just cut out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So that may happen. But
I can hear you.
I don't know why. What's up?
That scared the shit out of me.
It's just I forgot to charge the fucking batteries for my GoPro.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 partially charged batteries.
Well, throw the other one in. It's just one of those things, dude, where like when we have these headsets on, like I'm like completely oblivious to my surroundings, and when I hear a noise like that, I'm like, oh shit, is that my fire alarm? Like what's that noise? I'm glad it wasn't like I left a stove on or something.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is that you or me? Fucking scary, dude. But we could talk more about this. We'll come back and revisit it. But while you're changing batteries, I'm going to throw this up here real quick. London Studios, a studio behind Blood and Truth, which was one of the latest free PlayStation games, excuse me, VR game, are hiring for a new IP, intellectual property. And it doesn't look like it's going to be VR related, according to Push Square. which makes me think, Jake, which I've kind of been calling, is that I think that Blood and Truth 2 is going to be announced soon. This is a Fred Oakman prediction on the podcast.
I'm sorry, I missed a little bit of that. So you're saying that they announced a new game and it's not going to be VR?
They are hiring for a new they're hiring a new team, some more people to work on a non-VR related game. But because they're hiring for this new project, it makes me think that Blood and Truth is pretty much finished. Blood and Truth 2, because they just gave away the first one, and that's what Sony always does. They try to push something out there by giving it to you for free, so you want to buy the new thing. So,
or maybe they're just adding another team to Sony London because they're going to fucking shut Ben down.
That'd be funny. That wouldn't be funny. I feel bad for the people at Ben, man. I hope they get to do something.
Well, from what I understand, the game was decent. It just
Days Gone,
terrible. Yeah, Days Gone was decent. It just got terrible reviews because Sony gave them all like fucking broke ass versions of the game to review it. Mm-hmm. Like they didn't give them a legitimately patched version that ran well. And so the original PS4 version of Days Gone ran like shit. And a lot of the bad reviews are predicated on that. I mean, you know, everything that I've read about Days Gone has been like, once you get over, if you look past all the technical shit, it's fine. Like, it's not like this amazing, gonna blow you away. It's not The Last of Us. It's not the God of War. It's not Horizon, but it's still a pretty good game.
It doesn't suck. That's for sure.
It was just paced poorly. It was too long.
The
like
voice
there's
acting was good.
Things in it. But like from what I understand, it was a pretty decent game. So I'm honestly kind of surprised. I'm surprised and not surprised that they're not going to make another one because Sony Ben took forever to make that game. Mm-hmm. So I mean,
like 7 years or something, right?
Yeah, not as long as freaking The Last Guardian or anything like that.
It took them like 5 to 7 years to make Days Gone.
It took them. I mean, when did Uncharted Golden Abyss come out? 2012.
Yeah.
And that was the last game they made. So, and when did Days Gone come out?
2018, 2019?
2018, 2019?
Probably.
So you're talking about 6-7 years that they were working on that game.
Yeah, that's a long ass time, dude. That game is way longer than it needs to be, dude. That game is way longer than it needed to be.
They should have just shortened it up.
Yeah.
Because it's a new IP. They should have just made it like this concise, like awesome
25-hour thing, 20-hour thing, tops.
And then been like, hey, if this hits,
then we can
make this game in 4 years. If it hits, then we'll make a sequel that's bigger and better, whatever. Like The Last of Us to The Last of Us Part 2, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can't really compare the two because they're like on different echelons, but like,
yeah,
I don't know. I am bummed that they're not making another one because I honestly was convinced that they were going to make a second one.
Yeah. I mean, what are they going to do now? I mean, if we're just getting word that Days Gone 2 got turned down, then that means they probably haven't really worked on anything else. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sony Ben gets destroyed and thrown into something else. I don't know.
Or they might start playing a support role. I mean, it sounds like they were playing a support role to Naughty Dog anyway. I mean, they might become a support team. Mm-hmm. Or maybe Sony will give them another project, but maybe it'll be something smaller, you know, maybe something along the lines of like, I don't know, like the remake of
Resistance,
Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, fair enough.
How it was like how that game was like smaller. It was cheaper. It wasn't like this big. I mean, it was essentially a AAA game, right? But it was like smaller and cheaper, right? It was a $40 price point. Maybe they'll explore more of that space with a company like Bend, who, you know, they can afford to let them make a game that may or may not hit as long as it's on a shorter development cycle. But when you have a game that's not like a bang and it takes fucking 8 years to make, I'm not really surprised that Sony's not super thrilled about it.
Well, I mean, if they don't throw them at a shorter thing and they're like, okay, yeah, fine, you guys can just make something else, just it can't be Days Gone 2, then we may not hear from Sony Ben for another 7 or 8 years. I mean, it's till the end of the PS5 cycle. You know what I mean? It's possible.
You order 1887. It'll be the order.
I wouldn't mind Resistance. I've been saying that for a while. Anyways, all right. So the next news point was something I already brought up about the original Last of Us getting a remake, and I couldn't care any less. But number 4, Jake, have you seen the announcement? There's a PS5 cinematic survival game called Abandoned. It's being created by Blue Box Game Studios, not to be confused with Blue Point Games. This is like a game that's... there were some big rumors that Hideo Kojima was actually... This is like a cover-up for his new game, and he's pretty much come out and said, no, that's not the case. That's not what's happening.
Which doesn't mean a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But anyways, this game looks interesting, but it does look a little more... I don't know, double A or something, but it's interesting because nobody's really heard of Blue Box Game Studios before, and they kind of come out of nowhere with this pretty...
Oh yeah, I did see this.
Ambitious.
It's supposed to be like some hyper realistic survival horror game.
Mm-hmm. Which sounds like something Hideo would be involved in, especially after doing Death Stranding.
Well, and he lost his shot with Silent Hills, right? So, maybe he's going to make something like that with this. I mean, when I watched the little trailer, right, it didn't really show a whole lot. I mean, it looked really good, but it was like really jittery, like it was like 24 frames or something like that, which it might be because that's really cinematic. But like, I don't know. Like, this is one of those games where it's like I'm not even really gonna get too excited about it until I actually see what the hell it is.
Yeah, I doubt that Hideo's involved. I think that he's a little more clever than that. He kind of knows what people might expect. So, moving on, we've been doing a lot of talk about PlayStation movies, Jake, and it's been confirmed that the Uncharted movie and Ghost of Tsushima will be streaming on Netflix after they are finished in theaters. So, a deal was signed. So that's kind of interesting. So, like, if you don't want to go to the theaters to watch these movies, just wait. You can watch them on Netflix.
That's great for me. I hate the movie theater, so...
Well, that's why I put that on here. I figured you'd appreciate this little knowledge drop.
Yeah. Plus, like, if, when these movies are terrible... I won't feel bad about spending money on it then. Yeah,
it's just built right in.
I hope I'm wrong. I'm expecting them to be fucking awful, and I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope that they're both very good.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing they're going to be any better than okay. At least the Uncharted movie. I could see somebody making a good Ghost of Tsushima film, but I don't know. I just everything that I've read about Uncharted, the Uncharted movie, and Tom Holland's remarks about how he played the character and everything, it's just like, it does not sound like Uncharted at all. No. It doesn't sound like the correct Uncharted, I guess I should say.
I think what Sony's big play should have been is they should have had Sony Ben working on a game called National Treasure, and then they could have released National Treasure 3 in the movies, and everyone would have lost their fucking mind because everyone wants to see that movie. Man, there are parts of National Treasure where the score must be written by the same person that did Uncharted, because I swear he borrowed some stuff. Because there is like straight up, it's just like, wow, like this is so Uncharted, like it's ridiculous. Like National Treasure movies like are so Uncharted, in the best way. In the best way.
I'll be honest, I don't remember the second one, but I remember really liking the first one.
They were so good. We're going to steal the Declaration of Independence. It's so
Nicolas
good.
Cage.
Man, it's so good, though. It's for the listeners. If you haven't watched the National Treasure movies and you want to get an Uncharted-esque fix, go watch them both. Good luck finding them anywhere without having to purchase them or rent them at the very least. I don't think you can stream them for free anywhere, not even on Disney, which is kind of crazy. But both of those movies were fantastic. God, they were so good. They're never going to make a third one. Oh, they need to, though. All right, so moving forward. If you are a longtime listener of the show, you know how much I loved Streets of Rage 4. So it's been confirmed it'll be receiving DLC in the form of 3 new playable characters. I know Max is going to be one of them. They just showed us the silhouettes. Definitely going to be Max, the big wrestler guy that you get to fight. And then the other one is the female cop that kind of fights you in the beginning of the game. But there's a third one I couldn't recognize. We're getting a new map, like new modes, more new music. The music for Streets of Rage 4 was fantastic. Whoever the guy was that did all the music in that game, it was so... There were a couple people, I think 2 people were involved. So good. This game was so good, man. And... Jake, again, I know you played a little bit of it with me, but this is a game that I really think you need to get and just play. It's so good.
I enjoyed what I played of it. I mean, it seems legit. I mean, at least when I played it, I was like, oh, this is just fucking Streets of Rage, which is good. I mean, that's what they're going for. But yeah, I think that I think it's really cool whenever developers can either make a sequel to an old franchise or make like a reimagining or a spiritual successor to them and have them just be locked in. I mean,
it's a labor of love in those situations.
There are a few really good examples. I mean, you think of something like Shovel Knight, right? Or you think of something like Bloodstained, which, I mean, Bloodstained is kind of it's weighted
more of a love
because
letter.
Bloodstained is made by the same guy who made Symphony of the Night, so it's not like a fan made a game in the image of Symphony of the Night. It was like the Symphony of the Night dude game remade Symphony of the Night with different characters and shit. But I mean, it is cool. Like I really like, dude. Sometimes a lot of times I just really want to play. Cyber Shadow is another example.
Oh yeah, dude.
I just want to play some of these games, and they do so much for me. And we talked about this before. Yeah. But like, they do so much for me on a like catharsis level, like a reset level, like an enjoyment level. Like, there's something about playing a video game that is just fun to play. There's no super heavy story.
Simplicity, right?
There's no like drama in it. It's not this big like $70 experience. It's not like a fucking Call of Duty game or a big like Last of Us game, because to be honest, The Last of Us Part 2, part of it is probably because it took place, we played it in
during
2020.
COVID, yeah.
But like, that game took a lot out of me. Like, I can't think of another game where I would get to a moment in the game. It's been a long time since I've played another game where I'd get to a moment in the game and I'd be like, I gotta stop playing this.
Kuhn still hasn't beaten it.
Just like, what's that?
Kuhn still hasn't beaten it.
Really?
Yeah, he said it's just too much for him.
It's a lot. I mean, emotionally, it is a lot. I mean, I do, like, now that it's been almost a year since it came out, I really would like to go back and play it again. I think that it would be cool to play back through it again. Now that I've absorbed all of the... Dude, sometimes the shock and awe is just too much in Naughty Dog games. You know what I mean? Like, it is just too much. Like, it makes it good, but at the same time, it's too hard on my fucking soul.
Yeah.
Like, it's part of the reason why I can't watch TV shows like Breaking Bad and stuff like that. Like, I just can't, like, my psyche can't handle it. Like, the whole time I'm just like, raw, and I just feel like I can't sleep because I feel like shit after watching it.
It's funny.
I get that it's good.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. But anyway, that's a digression, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, so get Streets of Rage. You're talking about two games that kind of pull off a good sequel to an older game, right? There are two in mind that I still want to play that are either coming out or they're out now. One is the new Blaster Master, or it's Master Blaster. I get them confused. This game I played on Nintendo a long time ago. It was an 8-bit game. I think it's called Blaster Master. It would make more sense if it was Master Blaster. You're like this little car, and you can configure the cannons and change the wheels on it and stuff. So sticky wheels, and like it's like a platformer, but this little car is so good, dude. And it's really cool. That game and then the new Bubble Bobble game coming out just looks like a blast. I love the soundtrack to Bubble Bobble. It's like one of these old games, and I think they're both coming out on the PSN. I don't know. It's like one of those games. It's like maybe like a guilty pleasure. Bubble Bobble. It's kind of lame, but it's like really addicting and fun. But anyways,
I don't know if it's lame. I mean,
I don't think it's not lame.
Like, why? Like, is it lame to play a game like fucking Bust a Move or like Tetris or something like that? I mean, those games are fun.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about Bubble Bobble though. It's just, I think it's the title that sounds lame. Like,
is that the one with like the unicorns and shit?
I don't know. I don't think there's unicorns.
Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
It's
Bubble Bobble.
It's such a good game, dude. Look at the latest trailer. It's Bubble Bobble 4. I'm so excited for it, dude.
Looks good, man. I mean, like all these games.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, a lot of times I just wish that they would just bring back the fucking NES and Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Look up Blaster Master, dude. The new Blaster Master looks so good.
Blaster Master.
It might be Master Blaster. Like I said, I don't know. Every time I say it, I think it's the other thing. Is it the other way?
It's Blaster. I think it's Blaster Master.
Yeah. Look at the latest one, dude. It's so cool looking. Like, these games are awesome.
Blaster Master Zero launches on Nintendo Switch on March 9th. All right. It looks like a platformer, but you're a car.
Yeah. But it's more than that. It's more than just a platform. There's more to it. Like, you upgrade your car and give it different specs to do different things. Like, you can have jump wheels that make you like jump. It's really fun, dude. It's a really fun game. Different spread shots and stuff. It's really good. Blaster Master is the shit. All right. Anyways, is it coming out on PSN? Does it say? Because we're past March 4th.
March 9th is what it was.
If it's not on PSN, I'm just wasted everybody's time on the show. Because
Blaster Master PS4.
Sure.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
Oh man.
Blaster Master 03.
I don't even know what that means. Dude.
I mean, they have Blaster Master 0, 02, and 03, I think, are all on PS4. Oh, Blaster Master 03 on PS4. The announcement trailer came out a month ago.
All right, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out for sure.
Coming July 29th.
So it's not out yet.
Yeah.
All right, delayed release to PSN, but that's a deep cut from yours truly. Blaster Master, dude. That's where it's going to be at in July. Deathloop, I don't know if you saw, speaking of release dates, Deathloop is delayed now to September 14th.
Dude, that game was supposed to be a launch game.
Dude, what's so funny is the Push Square article that talked about this said it almost seems like Deathloop is in its own Deathloop. It's so good.
I mean, honestly, like, it looks cool as shit, so I'd rather them... I'm not like in a hurry to play it, so I'd rather wait, and when it comes out, it's just fucking dope and not have like a bunch of technical issues. So
for sure,
it seems like a lot of this delay stuff is just happening as a as soon as just sort of a byproduct of the pandemic
and the cyberpunk shit that went down. Like, no one wants to be hung like that. So,
dude, I'm at the point now where I don't even want to play Cyberpunk anymore.
I know, it's like old news. Like, no one's even interested.
Like, they just came out with that patch, that big patch or whatever.
Yeah.
And I
just wait for the PS5 version.
Well, I watched a video on what's different about the patch and stuff, and they're like, yeah, it fixes a lot of bugs and stuff, but it's still broken. Like, the game is still broken. Like, fucking guys walking through walls and shit like that. Like, immersion breaking stuff still happens all the time in the game. And apparently it does run better on base PS4 and Xbox One, but you know, when the PS5 version comes out, like, is it going to be good? Because like even the PC version glitches and shit. So like, I don't know. Like, I might be so tired of this game without even playing it by the time it comes out on PS5 that I don't even want to fucking play it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I do think I should play it.
I played it,
and I think I would enjoy it. But we'll see. I hope that it comes out and it's good or whatever. But man, CD Projekt has they went from the top of the mountain to the bottom really fucking fast.
I forgot like how many side missions I just left hanging because I was just like, I'm just gonna wait for the patch. So I don't even know at this point. I'm kind of like you. Like, I don't really have an interest in playing it right now, but I do kind of want to get back to it.
Funny story is that when the PS5 version comes out, it's entirely possible that your save won't transfer.
Yeah, that'll be fine though. I'll just pick a different character or something.
Well, that's cool. I mean, by that time, it's been a fucking year since you played it, so
it'll all be new to me anyways.
Right? I mean,
all right.
I don't know. It could be fun though. Yeah. I mean, I do, like, every time I watch it, I see like things about the game that are super impressive to me, but like, it's so, everybody loves a redemption arc when you talk about a game like No Man's Sky and all that kind of crap. But No Man's Sky was coming from a place like a hole nowhere near as deep as freaking CD Projekt Red. And Hello Games was not the what would we call it? They were not at the fucking zenith of popularity that CD Projekt Red was. I mean, CD Projekt came out with The Witcher 3, critical success, commercial success. Everybody loved it. Then The Witcher TV show came out, and then they made like another $50 million selling on The Witcher 3 again because the TV show made it so popular. Oh. So they're like up fucking here on the scale of like best video game makers of all time. And then
this happens.
They just released this dog turd. And not only did they release a dog turd, but they just fucked over so many people that I'm sure they'll survive this, but nobody, I mean, unless you're one of those people, which I guess this is probably the majority, unless you're one of those people that knows nothing about the video game industry and just bought it because it looks cool, right? Those type of people will probably be willing to pick up CD Projekt's next game as long as it just looks cool. But anyone that's plugged in or anybody knows that it's this CD Projekt Red is the one that made this game, they're going to be hesitant to like even trust the next thing that comes out of them. Yeah. I mean, I would. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
It's not like it's Bethesda, right? Where Bethesda releases Skyrim or Fallout or something like that, and you know when that game comes out you're getting a certain amount of jank with it, right? I mean, that's just part of the DNA of the game. People expect that, so when they get it and they see it, it's not that big of a deal,
right?
But even the Bethesda games are not nearly as fucked up as Cyberpunk, which is, at least from my understanding. I mean, I don't know. And honestly, I don't think I ever, and this is probably the same thing with Cyberpunk, but I never really got any of the really crazy glitches in Fallout or even Skyrim.
No, I never did.
Like, I've heard of it happening, you know, like one of the funniest ones was like, I can't remember if it was like when you would hit somebody or like you would shut a door on them or something like that, and they would just like launch into the air like 1,000 feet. Like, just weird, like funny shit like that would happen.
Yeah. I saw a car fall out of the air in Cyberpunk once, and I was like, that's weird.
Cyberpunk, like, I watched this video of someone playing Cyberpunk, and it was like, and you have maybe even experienced this, like when you're on a street and there are cars like lining the road, when you like turn around, it's like a different car every fucking time because it reloads it every time. And instead of reloading the same fucking vehicle, they reload just a random car. And sometimes it'll be like stuck on the sidewalk.
So immersion breaking.
It's like, I wanted to play this game because I wanted to be immersed in this cyberpunk world, you know?
Well, they didn't just release a dog turd, like you said. They released a dog turd, and then they were taking money and allowing people to just step in it. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, here, we're going to take your money and watch you walk in it.
Honestly, I honestly believe that if they just came out and said, like 6 months before release, if they had just come out and said, look,
this thing
we're not releasing the current gen versions. And at that time, I mean like PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah.
Like, this is a next gen only game. Because, I mean, all of this stuff is based around what happened with those versions of the game. My understanding is that the PC version, playing it on PS5 like you did, playing it on Xbox One X or Xbox Series X, I'm sorry, like, people didn't struggle with it as much. Yeah, there were still glitches. Yeah. It was still kind of like some immersion breaking stuff, but it was like those OG PS4 and Xbox One versions where, like, there are so many memes out there of like how terrible they looked and how terrible they played. And it's like, just fucking, you would have saved so much face had you just come out and said, look, we can't release it on this, or had said, look, we're going to release it on next gen only, and then we're going to work on the first gen version, or whatever it is.
For sure.
But I'm sure that they were probably hesitant to do that because they got 90 billion pre-orders for the game. And they're like, look, if we just release this and take the PR hit, we're going to make $1 billion in the first 2 days. And it's like,
and they did.
Okay, yeah, but
there's like your integrity's on the line at that point.
Now everybody fucking hates you.
Yeah. I think they put themselves in a corner where it was going to be a lose-lose. I think that like by not releasing it, they were going to have the ire of 50% of their fans, and by releasing it, then they gained the ire of like 50% of the fans and then a lot of other people. And like maybe they had like a small diehard crew still stick with them. Like, well, it's because you guys were fucking bitching all the time. Excuse my language, but you know.
They would have been so much better off though had they delayed it.
Yeah, hindsight's 2020.
People would have been pissed for like a week. But they should have literally just delayed it a whole year. And then it would have been like, okay, now you're going to release the PS5 version, the Xbox One X version.
It kind of was their PR team, because their PR team were making these posts like, listen, we're really sorry. We're not going to do this again to you, but we need another blah, 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 blah till this date. And then that date would come along. They'd be like, listen, I know we said we weren't going to do this again, but we need one more month. And then it was like, at a point where they had said that so many times that it was just like, had they, in the very first time they came out, had they said, listen, we're not even going to give you a date. We wanted to give you a date. We can't give you a date. It's not coming out until it's ready. But they kept saying, listen, we're really sorry. You know, we told you this date. You can also hold on a little bit. And then all the comments were just so negative and like, just fucking release the game. What's taking so long? You guys are ridiculous. You know, stuff like that. And then sorry to cut you off, but I think honestly, if they had come out and literally did a video online or a live demo on the fucking original PS4 and said, look, just so we're crystal clear, this is currently how the game is running on PlayStation 4. We need more time. Right.
Like, just be honest, be transparent. I feel like that goes so much farther than people think it does.
Yeah.
And maybe it would hurt them in some case, but like if they were to come out 6 months later and be like, look, we took the time, here's what it looks like now.
Right.
And it runs way better, it looks way better, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And I don't know, I think that it seems to be that in the current internet age, the only way that these big businesses and stuff are able to essentially operate without being stomped on by the masses is to literally just be as transparent and honest as possible. And yeah, no matter what, you're still going to get shit.
Or just be silent.
Or take the Sony approach and literally just be silent. Don't even fucking announce a release date. And
fire your PR people and just don't do any promotions. Don't talk about what you're doing, and then just drop that shit someday and watch the world just
do what Bethesda does and be like, hey, the Elder Scrolls 6 is coming. And then everyone's like, when's it coming? When's it coming? And they're like, no comment. And fucking 7 years from now, it'll come out.
Yeah.
But
while you guys were sleeping, we released Fallout 5, just so you know.
Yeah.
It came out yesterday. It's on the stores. Go grab it.
Dude, we still don't even know when freaking Starfield's coming out. And honestly, we don't even know if it's coming to PlayStation at all.
Yeah, it may not even
which would be interesting. I mean, I do understand that like they may decide to keep like some of the new IP on Xbox.
That'd be smart. It's debatable if it'd be smart, but
well, yeah. I mean, I think that's that guy the other day or a couple of podcasts ago that commented on, you know, how we have no
idea what legacy means or whatever.
We don't know what legacy means or something like that. That's probably kind of what he was driving home, was just that like this game is a new IP. Like there's just keep the new IP on Xbox, keep all the legacy shit, meaning Elder Scrolls, all of their Elder Scrolls games.
Don't pull any of that from
Fallout games, all that stuff will continue on new platforms. But, you know, I mean, this is coming from a PlayStation gamer, but like, I honestly think that financially their best bet is to just release it on both platforms, because they're making no money on Xbox Game Pass. We don't need to talk about this again. We talk about this all the fucking time. So
it's a mystery though.
It is a mystery.
It's an interesting time to be in. But
dude, if they came, I'll be 100% honest with you. If they came out and they were like, look, all Bethesda games are going to be Xbox exclusive, with the exception of the ones that already are contractually obligated to be on PlayStation, meaning Deathloop and things like that. Tokyo, whatever the hell it was called. Ghostwire Tokyo.
Do you think Deathloop's going to be Xbox Game Pass game?
Probably. I mean, it's definitely going to be a Game Pass game, right? But eventually, when it comes out on Xbox, it's probably they probably have like a year of exclusivity on PlayStation or some shit like that, which is really bizarre when you think about it.
Do you think it getting postponed has something to do with them being bought out? Do you think like Microsoft's just like, you know what? Fuck Sony. Let's tell them we got to push the game back a couple months. You know what I mean? Just to twist the knife a little bit, like.
I have a hard time believing that. I mean, it's possible.
The game looks like it's been done for a while. Like everything we've seen, it looks great. You know?
Yeah, but everything we've seen has also been short snippets, right?
Yeah, there's probably a lot
of vertical slices. You know, it hasn't been
stuff with that one too.
We haven't seen like a long actual like 20-minute playthrough or anything like that. We've just seen these like cut trailers, these curated trailers, right? So it could be. I mean, and those trailers are probably running on PC. They're probably not even running on PlayStation 5, although they probably are. I mean, I think a lot of them maybe say that they are. But
I just like the idea that maybe Microsoft had something to do
with it.
It
would be funny as hell, and I think that it would be hilarious. I don't know if Microsoft legally is capable of doing that, but I think that it would be hilarious if they were just like, Ghostwire Tokyo, it'll come out eventually, right? And it's literally just been done for like 2 years.
They postponed it for like a year and a half. 2 years.
I mean, to be honest though, that's only really gonna hurt them. It's not gonna hurt.
But they don't
Sony
even care about money. Like they don't even care about money right now.
Dude, I don't know. I don't think you had it in any of the news, probably because it's not PlayStation specific, but like there's talk about them buying Discord for like $10 billion.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? Like, Discord for $10 billion? It might have been $9 billion. Who the hell? What do I know? But like,
once you hit $1 billion,
Discord.
I mean, I can't even fathom like $100,000. Like, imagine, like, think about this: $100,000, and then to get to $1 million, you need 100.
10 times that.
Yeah, right. Think about it. You need that 10 times. And then to get to 10 million, you need that like so many more times. Like it gets crazy.
To get to $1 billion, you need 1,000 million,
which is
and
incredible.
then multiply that by 10.
Yes,
and you get the price of Discord, which to me is
dollars.
Asinine.
Right? Yeah. I mean, like I'm just trying to like, should I buy Taco Bell? It's going to cost me $8. I don't know. And then there's Microsoft. Like, here, we're going to buy Discord. 10 million will do it. Sure. 10 billion.
Yeah, they just got that, dude. Microsoft, man, they just got that big dick money. They can just fucking throw it around like nobody's business. And they can lose money on it for years.
It's so hard to comprehend that kind of money. Like you would almost lose sight of what it means to operate a business.
And the thing that's funny too is that Xbox is such a small part of their business. It's so small compared to Microsoft as a whole.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, think about how many computers are running Windows, like government computers and stuff. How many licenses they sell all the time to their products. To like,
dude, Microsoft
everywhere.
has a bunch of shit that, you know, people don't even think about that makes them millions and millions of dollars, like Azure and stuff like that, like these cloud services and things that like back end business use that nobody even sees.
Yeah.
Like that's stuff that they just, man, they're just huge. I don't know. I mean, you have to be impressed, but
I'm impressed. I just don't. Yeah, I just don't understand why. I get that like Sony's like a competitor for Xbox, but like I really feel like they're picking on Sony right now, like a little bit.
I don't know. I think they're just. I think, you know, and
they probably want Games Pass on the PSN.
That would be awesome. I don't know how that would even work, but it would be awesome.
What if you could be a Games Pass subscriber on the PSN?
That would be cool. I don't know that the problem is that what games would be on there, right? Would they be all third-party games? Would there be Microsoft games on there?
Yeah.
Would there be Sony games on there? That would be interesting.
Yeah, no,
right?
There wouldn't. I don't know if it'd be Sony, but I would think like all the games. Yeah, then maybe there would be. Whatever games are available for free on Xbox Games Pass, would be available to you on the PSN if you were a subscriber and they had the app or something.
The problem is that
how does Sony?
It's not always going to work because some of those games don't have PS5 versions, right? There's not a PS5 version of Gears of War 5, right? You can't. They would have to make a port of it,
or use their streaming service because they have. Streaming service built, like, bake it in there, dude.
Yeah, dude, I did a I did see an article or a tweet by the guy who's working on God of War. No,
I don't know, man.
Tell me. Fuck me. I can't remember his name right now, but one of the Sony dudes, one of the studios who's in charge of like some of these big titles, made a comment that I don't know why it's skipping my brain right now, but like that Sony has an answer to Game Pass in the works.
Okay.
And I'm sure he said that without Sony's consent at all, and the PR team probably shit a brick whenever he said it. But dude, if they could even just revamp PS Now so that it's more of a Game Pass style service where you can get all of these games and download them all and everything, like, dude, that would be crazy. But I mean, to be honest with you, like we've talked about it ad nauseum, like Sony is on top of the mountain right now, and they don't really need to take the financial hit of a service like Game Pass to appease the customers. Though I am concerned, Sony's on top right now with games and everything, right? Platform, user base, all that stuff. But by the end of this generation, Microsoft has purchased all of these studios like Obsidian and Ninja Theory and
we don't know what some of them are doing right now, yeah.
And all this stuff. Dude, Microsoft by the end of this fucking console cycle could be literally, they could have Sony on their heels in terms of first party IP. You know, they could be like, oh yeah, okay, you got the fucking Last of Us Part 3 or whatever.
No, you know what they're gonna say? Oh, you guys got the Last of Us remake.
Yeah.
Like, what is Sony doing? Like, why are they not making a new fucking game? You have Naughty Dog. Have them make a new game. Don't make them remaster something they did 8 years ago. It's fucking bullshit. Yeah. Sorry. That pisses me off. Go ahead.
If we've talked about this already, but if they remaster any fucking game, it should be Uncharted Golden Abyss, and it should be on the console.
Yeah, it's just a complete remaster.
Remake it.
Remake
just remake
Golden
it
Abyss
on the fucking console.
Yes.
Take out all that dumb Vita shit. And I just want to play that game on a TV, man. So bad.
Yeah, remake it. Make it like cooler. Or just do a new Resistance game, man. Reboot the Resistance game from the ground up. You know? Jeez, that was such a great franchise.
I wonder if that's maybe... What if that's what Bluepoint's doing next? Because Bluepoint did Demon's Souls.
Dude, with how good Demon's Souls look, could you imagine a Resistance game that looks that good?
Dude, if they did like a I mean, which one should they really remake?
Probably
I mean, I think the third one is the best, right?
Yeah,
I think the third one is the best, personally. I didn't play one.
One needs it the most. Yeah,
but from what I understand, one was kind of like a diamond in the rough. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of... from what I understand, it was really hard.
It was.
And it was just... It was like one of those, you know, early like launch titles.
We're reaching for straws. We don't really know
super
what we're doing.
Polished.
Right.
They just wanted a shooter. They wanted a narrative shooter, right? Because they didn't have Killzone. Resistance 2 was fucking dope.
Yeah.
When you play as Nathan Hale and like at the end of the game, he's like turning into a chimera. Like, it's fucking awesome. And then Resistance 3, I mean, they should remake Resistance 3 specifically so I could see that box art again. That game had dope box art.
Whoever designed that box art is so awesome. I want to post it. That'd be so good. It looks so clean for a video game. The other thing though, like, why can't they just give us a brand new Resistance and then just have a prelude of all the things that happened before? Make like this really awesome cutscene that like shows that the Chimera invaded, and then there was this soldier, and then he turned into one, and then his buddy or whatever, this war guy, you know, all this stuff happened in part 3, and then this is where we're at, and then Resistance 3. Why don't they just make it simple and do a Resistance 4, dude?
They could do a Resistance 4, or I mean, they could even just reboot it, right? But I think Resistance 4 would be interesting.
All right.
But the problem with Resistance 4 is that it's been so long and people have no way to play the first 3.
I think there's a couple on PlayStation Now, isn't there?
Just the third one. From what I understand, just the third one is on PlayStation Now, which it's a good one, right? It's worth playing. But you can only stream it because it's on PS3, right? You can't download it like it's a PS4 game or anything. So they would have to, if they're making a Resistance 4, they would almost have to do like a remastered trilogy and release that, and then which maybe Bluepoint could do that, and then then Insomniac could just do Resistance 4, which would be cool as fuck. Because,
dude, they just need to call it Resist or something like that. Like change it slightly, like just a Resist.
They could make it something interesting. Like, I mean, think of it. They don't have a shooter anymore. I mean, Killzone's gone, right? You know, they've got these third-person action games with shooting elements, dude, right? Like The Last of Us and Uncharted and stuff.
I saw this meme. It was like a clip this dude posted, and someone was like, Sony's formula for first-party games, and it was like Horizon, which is like a third-party, third-person game. It was The Last of Us Part 2, both the same way. Uncharted 1 through 4, all the same. God of War, the same. What's in Ghost of Tsushima? The same fucking thing. It's like a third-person action game. Almost every single one of their big hit games. Spider-Man, pretty much the same fucking thing. It's just like it's all the same shit. They don't have shooters anymore. They don't have any RPGs under. They don't have like they found a thing and they just started chasing it. But the meme was like, Sony found their thing, whatever. The guy posted, he goes, yeah, but I would love to spend any amount of time in any one of these games because they just look so good and they just play so well. And it's like, that's true.
Yeah. Honestly, one of my disappointments, I was a little bit disappointed. I liked the new God of War a lot. Don't get me wrong. But when I saw it for the first time and I was like, this literally looks like The Last of Us. They just like dropped Kratos into The Last of Us.
And it was like a father-son,
and they were
like a kind of like that kind of parallel, yeah.
And I'm just like, I mean, I get it. It sells, so why not? But, do something new. Do something different. They need a shooter. They need a first-person shooter. It doesn't have to be as good as Halo, right? But if it's decent, if it's a decent shooter like Resistance or something like that. I
don't want it to be online based though. That's the thing. Everything has gone online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, but even like Killzone Shadowfall, right? I mean, it had multiplayer, but it was, it had a good campaign to it. Man. And I think I'd be surprised if they released something that didn't have at least it had multiplayer, but at least it had a solid campaign to it. So I don't know, but they need something. I mean, and they need an RPG or like you said, I mean, none of their games are anything but third-person action games.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like, other than The Show,
Destruction All-Stars,
which is a baseball game, Destruction All-Stars, which is basically Twisted Metal.
Yeah. That's really
and that's cool.
Well, we got Ratchet coming.
Right. But Ratchet and Clank
is still
a
third-person action game.
Certain point of view, a third-person action game. Yeah, it is a mascot platformer.
Yeah,
but you're running around. You're shooting,
Returnal? Returnal's not a first-person though.
Returnal is a third-person action game that just happens to have fucking roguelike elements.
Yeah,
and it is exclusive to Sony, but it's second-party. They didn't make it.
Yeah,
right. Housemarque made it, but. I don't know. I would love to see them make like a fucking racing game. Like they used to make Wipeout, right?
Wipeout was
cool.
Amazing.
Like they used to make Wipeout. They used to make like
I don't know.
They own like Legend of Dragoon and shit like that. Like why not? Which is an RPG, old JRPG. Like
why not? Yeah, why not? I get that they found what works, but. I mean, maybe they could find another thing that works too and have two things that work.
Well, and they could make them smaller too. Like they don't have to make this fucking 6-year-long thing like The Last of Us Part 2, which
I mean, that's what Days Gone was too, right? It was a third person.
Yeah, or even Days Gone, right? Because a lot of these are like, live and die. Basically, they're either successful or they're not. Mm-hmm. Like they can't afford with these big titles to have anything that's less than stellar. That's why all of Sony's first-party games are really good, is because anybody that didn't do really good got fucking shafted.
Yeah.
So what they should do is they should invest in some of these smaller studios, make some of these games that are like $20 games that take maybe 2 years to make, and make like a really good side scroller, make like a really good fucking just kart racer, make like a really good, I don't know, like
a first person like shooter, man.
Yeah. Or like, well, first person shooters are notoriously expensive to make if you make them like really good, but like if you like have a big narrative to them and everything. But like even like an arcadey sports game like RBI baseball or something like that. Like make something interesting. Yeah. I don't know, like not that these other games aren't interesting, but like I was talking about earlier in the show, like playing The Last of Us Part 2, sometimes it's just it's such this heavy experience. Like I don't want to play fucking Red Dead Redemption 2 all the time. Like sometimes I want to play Katana Zero, and I want a game like that coming from Sony's first party because I want to support them. Right. And I think that they could do it. And remember when PlayStation 4 first came out and Shuhei Yoshida and Jack Trent and all these guys were like indies. And they came out with all these great indie games. And yeah, they didn't all land, make them first party, right? And they didn't necessarily all pan out, but they shoveled them out to the audience. They didn't shovel them out, but they supported them and they pushed them out to the audience.
Dude, there were some really good games too. Like think about it. Sound Shapes, we had Mutant Blobs Attack, we had
Sound Shapes was so good.
Dude, Mutant Blobs was amazing also.
Mutant Blobs.
Dude, that's a game for Vita. If you are looking for a game for your Vita that you should definitely get before. Yeah, it was a fantastic game. But like,
dude, that fucking studio is so good. I don't know what they've been doing recently.
What studio did that?
Yeah, Drinkbox. They did Tales from Space. They did Guacamelee, and they did Guacamelee 2, obviously, and then they did Severed. Have you played Severed on Vita?
Yeah, that's a game I didn't like it. I haven't.
You didn't like it?
Nah, I wasn't a fan.
It is, but it's about as good as you can get for a touch-controlled game, right?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's worth playing. I never beat it, but I played quite a bit of it.
And then they had Japan studio games like The Puppeteer, and then there was another game similar to The Puppeteer that came out that I was playing a bit of. It was it's kind of like that. I forget what it was called though. It was on Vita. It was real.
Or even like what was that? What was that UbiArt game that was
Concrete
like
Genie?
An adventure game, right? Because remember, not This War of Mine. The one that's about World War One, Valiant Hearts.
Yeah.
Or what was the other because that was the UbiArt game, but there was the other one that was the RPG and everything was in fucking poem form.
I don't remember that one.
Child of Light.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
Like games like that,
Flower,
Flow. I mean, Journey. Those were exclusive PlayStation,
and they
titles.
were fantastic. Where are those games at now,
dude? I mean,
like where are those kinds of games?
This horse has been beat to death, but like I can honestly say that I have never in my life had a gaming experience like as unique and as powerful in 2 hours as in Journey.
Yeah, that game was amazing.
Like, don't get me wrong. The original Last of Us, the first time I played it, was probably one of the greatest gaming could be possibly number one in terms of gaming experiences I've ever had.
Yeah.
But the first time I played through Journey, like sit down there and play it by yourself, like that was special. And that was a Sony exclusive game.
Yeah.
And now they're just like, fuck it, make, Kratos Ragnarok or make.
I think that they need to do something. You're right. I think this is a good podcast. We're having a good discussion. I think that Sony needs to change up their approach right now a little bit because it's kind of getting stale. They need to mix it up.
Especially when, Microsoft gets all their studios churning. I mean, they're going to have the third-person action games in the Gears of War. They're going to have the first-person huge Western RPGs in the Bethesda games. They're going to have the Halos. They're going to have the fucking Dooms. They're going to have the Wolfensteins.
So they have Team Ninja now?
They have Team Ninja now, so they're going to have the Hellblades, which Hellblade, I don't think you've played it, right?
No.
That game, even though it was technically third-person action, was super interesting because it was more of a horror kind of experiential game. It wasn't like, duck and cover and fucking fight and stuff. Like, it was very plotting and just cerebral. Like, it was a very, very good game. Very unique. Even like they got Obsidian now, and Obsidian did like the first Stick of Truth game and shit like that, which is like,
yeah,
dude, they got what they need to make some dope ass games over at Microsoft. And I really hope that Sony doesn't sit back on their laurels because they're on top.
That's what they're doing though.
And fall into another PlayStation 3 trap where they're just like, oh shit, now we're playing from behind.
Yeah.
Because
it took them so long to get ahead too. It took them
know.
I mean, how do you get ahead of Xbox? We did it somehow. Sony did it. They got ahead.
It would be interesting though from an industry perspective. Let's say the next console cycle, Sony just fucking botches it and they're just on the bottom again. Which, I mean,
it looks like we're going that direction.
Trending that direction, which is very worrisome. It could. There's this like concept of like the third console is always garbage. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, does that repeat? Because think about this, right? PlayStation, the first PlayStation, was successful. Second PlayStation was successful. Third PlayStation was dog shit when it came out.
Right.
Microsoft, Xbox, first Xbox good, second Xbox great, third Xbox was dog shit when it came out. Nintendo, first Nintendo good, second Nintendo great, Nintendo 64 fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But wait, fourth Nintendo did decent, fifth Nintendo in the Wii did good, sixth Nintendo in the Wii U did shit.
Huh.
And now they're back with the Switch doing good again. Is it every three consoles?
Yeah.
They get too big for their britches and they need knocked down a peg. It's just a really interesting kind of theory thing or like business thing. I don't know. Like, that's kind of a little bit of a tangent, but like, so it could be that Sony is due to get a little bit of an ego stomping on the next console generation.
Well, they're earning it right now. I mean,
they are earning it right now. They need to turn the ship around for sure.
They need to do something. I think we're both in agreement. I was thinking about this earlier, like this week, and I was just like, man, I'm not as excited for shit like I used to be for Sony. And I'm not, I love Sony. Don't get me wrong. We have a Sony podcast here, a PlayStation podcast. But like, they've lost a little bit of that edginess and they've lost a little bit of that drive. And I don't know when we're going to see it again. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of it left with that, like, that they had that focus on the gamer and they had that focus on the
Jack
indies
Tretton
and all that
area,
stuff.
whatever that guy's name was.
In like the PS4 launch era, and the PS4 got so big that it just seems like they just lost sight of that. I don't know. It is a bit of a bummer.
But hey, let's end on a positive note. As always, the music at the end of the show may possibly be excluded from our YouTube channel for copyright reasons, so don't forget you can download and or stream this episode as well as others on your preferred podcasting platform. And the closing track today is me, my song, I Heard Howling. This was released on my split with Donnie Consa. Last episode, we had his song, The Road. This is a song of mine called I Heard Howlin'. You can listen to more of my music at fredoakman.com. Every once in a while, I'll put some of my own music on here. But don't forget, if you want to have your original music featured on the show, send an MP3 to our email account, pssisawesome@gmail.com, along with your band name and the title of the song, and we will notify you when or if it goes live. Jake, did you have anything else for the show? We are past 1 hour. And I think we had a good conversation. I think to all the Sony people out there listening, keep your head up. We don't want to end on a dour note. I think Sony is still in good positioning if they just can right the ship a little bit. We can see it coming down the path. Let's just get creative and let's do something fun. Let's do something neat. It sucks to see MLB The Show on Games Pass. And it sucks that Deathloop got pushed out. And I think, Microsoft is flexing a little bit right now, but nothing to get too worried about. I think we've got good stuff coming down the pike. I'd like to see some different styles of games, though, come from Sony. Jake?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that you don't have anything to worry about just yet. I mean, Sony they have the football, right? All they got to do is run it into the end zone for, if you want.
They got Spider-Man and Ratchet too.
Term there, right?
Yeah.
So like, they've got all the goodwill, they've got all the shit. I mean, if they just spend a little bit of time working on their PR, working on, fixing the fucking PS5 store and like just all this little shit that like is just they're just like setting roadblocks up for themselves in the future, and if they just do some house cleaning, they could easily stay on top. Just maintain their focus on the gamer, stop worrying about the business and all that stuff. And I get it, it is a business, they want to make money, but they're good to go. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it yet.
I'm gonna pose one last thing. That's a great way to close it. If what you said was true and they have a counter punch to Xbox Games Pass, I would not be surprised if maybe when they're shutting the PSP and the PS3 and the PS Vita store down, that somehow these games become part of some sort of plan that you can buy and just have access to. It's really weird they're just shutting those stores down and zipping all these games off. But that's my hopeful thought for the evening.
Yeah, maybe they do. Maybe they're going to come out and be like, hey, we've got backwards compatibility now. I know that's a freaking reach, but it would be interesting.
Yeah, let's see. It ain't over till it's over. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into episode, excuse me, Jesus. Episode 177 of PS. This is awesome. Like Mad Max, Matterfall, Mercenary Kings. PS. This is awesome. Sunshine in the Keystone State. Drop a tiny touch of moonshine by the dinner plate. It seems that some days I'm a little more well, and every Sunday I've learned to pray like hell. Sometimes I'm not much, sometimes I'm here, some never get up, but I'll never quit. It makes me wonder, no more than you, the things I'll say, or the things I'll do, with the hope of feeling a little less remiss. The dread of adding another to our list. I take a little bit of happy with a pinch of salt. Don't act so crazy, you never take the fall. Sometimes I'm not much, sometimes I'm here, some never get up, I'll never quit. It makes me wonder.